Hello, everyone. Okay. So yeah, today that's me, and that has a burden and the task of being moderating this town hall. So I'm gonna do my best. But yeah, there is a reason why Miles is supposed to be doing those things, and I think everyone is gonna find out. So okay, we're gonna start, and we have again a little bit of a presentation down for you, with a few of the reminders and the usual things that we are sharing with you. Obviously, that is recording. We are sharing this live on Facebook, on our Facebook group, the Hospitable Host group, and our hospitable.com page. You also can see that later on YouTube, where we keep on uploading those town hall recording. So follow this channel. There's plenty of great content that we're doing with masterclasses, with webinars. We're going to start with some company and product updates. And then we're going to have some usual Q&A from the audience. So whenever that's the case, you will have a chance of raising your hands, so that basically you can show up on stage. You won't have to share your video with us. That would just be a voice-based interaction. You can also, at the end of that session, we'll also go through the Q&A section, that have actually been asked in text by everyone and the team, with the support team, with the Vera, also on that side of the panel, can reply to your question as they go. You can also intervene, give your feedback about this presentation, how it's going, or add a comment on what we're talking about in the chat section. So that basically makes it more interactive, and we also pick it up from there. So yeah, let's get started. And obviously, the most important issue right now in a company is really the state of our support. So just to recap, if you've not been following, but if it's just the first time, we've been having a very significant issue in terms of staffing. So for the support team, a few colleagues have left the company several months, some on medical leave, and have returned. And so basically, we need people, obviously, to provide you with the excellent support that we want to keep on giving you as customers of Hospitable. So we have already recruited 3 people at the end of March. Only 3 are staying, and we're very confident about the quality of support that the current 3 people can give you. So we are growing this team, but we are very attached, obviously, to the quality of the support that we're going to be providing to you. This is not over. More people are going to be joining the team soon. Actually, tomorrow we're going to have Kelly, who's going to be joining our APAC team. So that's more like if you are listening to us from the Pacific. If you're from Pacific time zone, that's really the people that you're more likely to be interacting with. She's based in Bali, originally from San Diego, and she's going to start tomorrow. So we're very excited to have her of a joiner team, and I believe that she's going to be very excited also about taking over with Ethan the Hospita Buddies town hall that we basically have scheduled once at the end of March. We also have other candidates that are going to be joining the team, so at different times. I'm working specifically on the tier 1 team, and that's going to expand our current capacity to work on the first response time to your request, and making sure that we can provide that live chat experience. That's really helpful. And we also have other colleagues joining our US-based team to provide maybe more sophisticated support and really investigate the issues that you are facing as a customer. Now, unfortunately, even though we have been growing our team, I wish the stats would have shown a better improvement. I think there is a part of it that is expected. As we spend more time onboarding those new people that are joining our company, they're not obviously as productive, but they take time from productive people in our team. And so that may be a factor in the elevated number in the elevated response time that we're displaying. So that's really from town hall to town hall. So that's really the time, a 2-week window. It's been tough. I hope that there is, this graph is showing that there is an improvement on the way with shorter response time, moreover during the end of last week. Overall, however, those are really rather disappointing numbers, especially for the last week. So with overall response time that really is well over what we would like. And resolution time, so that's a median time to close, is really still sitting at over 1 day. So we're going to follow up on that. I'm very glad to answer your questions about it and about the state of things. We're working really hard to grow our support team, and that takes time, and we want to provide great support, which means more time for the onboarding. So we're still basically on the same track. Currently, we have 12 people overall in our support team that are going to be there starting tomorrow. The idea was to have 14 people joining our team. I think really this is an open-ended number. We're happy to hire more people to make this organization far more resilient, and being able to do a lot of things, and going back to a lot of things that we contemplated before. So really having more opportunities for one-to-one chats with those Zoom calls, which I think are a fantastic tool to go through difficult situations or onboarding and setup. And yeah, having a more proactive approach to customer issues that you may be facing. So we're still working on it. It's going to take, as planned, bit of time for you to see the improvement. Right now, we're in a phase of recruiting, we're in a phase of onboarding and training, and basically trial and error for some people who are not from this industry and have to familiarize themselves with our culture and processes. But this is the best path that we have at this point in time to improve the quality of our support, not in 2 weeks, but really 1 month, 2 months down the line. Some happier news on the ChatGPT front. So we released our ChatGPT integration last tunnel. It was really the same day, so that was the 5th of April. And we have some numbers that we can share with you about how that feature is really changing, I think, their approach to our software. And we're very excited to basically be spending a bit more time on this in coming weeks. So if you don't know about it, this is currently a feature that's available in beta. So you need to be an active customer to be able to enable experimental feature in your settings. And then you have this magic wand button that's going to allow you to ask ChatGPT, OpenAI, to generate a draft to the message, to the guest message, providing an answer to the question, maybe giving some directions, and anything really. This is completely open-ended. We've had some really amazing results from a group of beta testers, so out of a relatively significant audience. Nearly 46% of messages that are drafted by GPT are sent without any edit. That is a remarkable number, because it means you click the button, the answer is good enough to sound like you, to be accurate, and you just press send. So that's obviously what we're going for here, is really such a gain in productivity that you can trust the software and just have it run as automatically as it can at this point in time. 14% of all messages that are being sent currently from the Hospitable inbox are sent with a GPT assist. So that covers really the other part where you don't just send a message as is, but really you're going to maybe try a few drafts. You're going to edit a little bit. And I just want to keep that in mind. It's really for the beta. Only the beta users right now have access to that feature, which is, I think, around 500 users have engaged with that feature just yet. Out of 10,000 plus customers, that still represents the bulk of messages that cohort particularly is using. So we believe it's really going to be life-changing in your experience of the product. And we're very confident about releasing that moving forward. Now, we are sharing that this is going to be a feature that's going to be charged. We don't yet have any conversation internally about that. We're very glad about the success that we're having so far. We're going to see what we can do to basically make that available to everyone among our customer base. That's also sparked a little bit more of an interest towards our existing AI features, such as questions. So with more, AI has always been something that was particularly interesting for us to play with as a product. However, we realized that only 30% of our users are actually using that feature called questions that is able to detect that the question has been asked in a message from the guest and automatically, without your input, send a reply to that guest questions. It's a feature that's working really well. Unfortunately, we do have a problem of adoption. Only 30% of our user base has configured at least one messaging rules. So it's been some work from the engineering team, from the product team, with Emily, with Anmol, and Alisa, to really be refining what is the experience that we would like to offer in relation with questions. So we're going to start some user testing to validate the user experience. So that's going to sound a little bit like this. Currently, that's the working prototype. And the idea is that moving forward, we'll be able to generate the templates for the messaging rules replying to questions based on what you have answered in previous replies to questions that are being asked by the guests. So having a lightweight setup to a feature that we are confident can save you a lot of time and is reliable. And there's going to be more update on questions in coming weeks again. Yeah, so that's what I have to share with you. And I'm going to give the mic, the slides, and all the power to Andrew, the direct guy, who has some very exciting updates to be sharing with you. Andrew.
Okay, next slide, please, since you're in charge. Cool. So some of you lucky ones are in the 5% of people that we rolled out to now. Like we told you last time, the pilot is officially over, and now we're rolling out to everyone, to general audience. We're doing that slowly. We don't want to overburden support, so we're going to just gradually roll out over about the next 30 days to all users. So if you don't have access yet, you will have access soon. What we've been spending our time on as well as this week is just to support that rollout. So you're going to see a lot more and a lot more improved support documentation. We've also been spending time just making little tweaks, making things more clear. So all the users that we're going to be throwing into Direct have a good experience, can understand it. You can tell when your account is allowed to start setting up Direct, because you'll see this new sign here on the slide. So the little new badge will appear next to Direct, and you can see all about Direct and the setup guide. Okay, what else is coming up? We've been talking about Direct Premium Australia. Our payment platform provider says everything is ready. They have one last compliance check, and then we should get access to that this week. There's a little bit of setup time still for us to get Australia live, but that's the next expansion item for us. Right now, it's just host in the USA. And those of you who know Pierre, you know that he loves establishing legal entities. So we are going to start the ball rolling on new hospitable entities, not only in Australia, but also in the UK and Canada, so we can get started on the next markets for Direct after that. Next slide, please, Pierre. Otherwise, besides all the support documentation, debugging, and whatnot they've been working on, we just released kind of a new version of the booking widget that's going to give you some control over the look and feel of it. It also does a few more things. We've got some mock-ups. It's not a mock-up, it's actually a screenshot. It's live for our Direct users on the next slide, so we can take a look at that after this. More updates on Google Vacation Rentals. We did get in, so we had a nice warm intro, which is good because they're not letting new connectivity providers.
Seems like we're losing Andrew just at the time when really the thing he's been working on so much for the past week is really going well. So there must be something happening in Florence, in Italy. I hope he's going to be able to come back up, because I'm not exactly following everything in hours detail. Andrew, do we have you back? No. Yeah. Yes, we have you.
Yeah,
okay.
I just switched networks. Maybe. Yeah. Sorry if you were losing me.
No problem.
Hopefully this is better.
Come back. What's happening on Google Vacation Rentals?
How much did you miss? So we're in, which is the important part. Because they weren't allowing everybody in. Basically, Google has told us that their focus now is improving the overall product, not expanding to new partners. So that was important that we got that access. Now that we have that, one of our developers has already been digging in, and a lot of the integration work we already have because of existing channels. So this should be a pretty quick implementation on our side. There is like a 4 to 6 week process while Google basically audits our implementation, checks our pricing, sync, and things like that. So we're minimum 4 to 6 weeks out on going live with this, but we're in a very good place so that we have that to look forward to. One small change we did this week was we changed up the auto host guest vetting process. There was a screen in there that a lot of our Direct pilot users were giving us feedback on that was tripping up a lot of guests. We were asking for all of the additional guests' name and email. It was optional. That part wasn't clear in the auto host guest portal. So we just removed that screen after we checked with a few hosts. we only need to validate the primary guest. That's the liable guest for our damage protection. So that's, I think, a lot better experience now for the guest vetting that you're going to see when you're using Direct Premium. Otherwise, the items to look forward to, cancellation policy, it's going to look very similar to OTA's particular Airbnb. You're going to be able to set whether you're flexible, strict, etc., or no refund, what the current cancellation policy is now for Direct. Otherwise, instant book and split pay are around the corner. Next screen is just a view of what the new booking widget looks like now. So they behave a lot more like sites. And this allows us to do a couple of things. It allows you to have more than one. So if you've got more than one custom direct booking site that you want to have your booking widget on, you can control styling separately. You can scope properties separately to different booking widgets. We're going to make that a completely custom styling going forward. Right now, we just let you pick one of our 10 themes and find a styling that looks good with your site. That will be 100% custom very soon. So you can exactly match the color palette of your existing site. But yeah, those are the main updates for Direct.
I like the reference, like the name of that widget.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to our friends at Boostly.
We have already implemented plenty of direct booking websites with the custom design through our widget. It provides a very lightweight integration for people who want something a little bit different than the designs that we're offering. So yeah, and I'm gonna give the stage to Emily for more updates on smart locks. Good luck.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to cover a couple things today. First being smart locks. So last town hall, we mentioned several issues that we were experiencing with smart locks, and we shared that we're forming this cross-team working group internally that's really focused on improving our smart locks and making that mission critical part of your business a lot more reliable. So we had that first meeting right after our last town hall. And one of the biggest decisions that came out of that meeting is we've decided to transition integration partners for our Schlage locks. What this looks like for you is not much right now, but basically we work with 2 different integration partners primarily, and one has been more reliable than the other. And so we're going to be transitioning integration partners for Schlage to move on to the one that we're having a more reliable connection with. No big sweeping changes have been done yet, but know that one of our goals with that is to have like as little impact on you as possible. So we're going to do our best to do as much of that transition for you as possible as we move to that new integrating partner, so that we can give you a more reliable experience there. Let's see, next, we've made a couple of smaller improvements, one being improvement within our UI to avoid duplicate connections, which was causing a lot of issues for people. And we're also displaying new Schlage locks now without a delay. And some of our hosts were seeing a huge delay when they connected a new lock, like upwards of 8 hours, and now they're displaying without much delay. So some good news there. Next, before we used to send this all caps message to guests saying code not provided if for any reason we couldn't provision that code. That was confusing for guests because they didn't know what to do with that information, and awkward at best for a host who the guests were confused. So we've changed that language to now say that there was an issue generating your smart lock code. Please request a code from your host. It's more of a call to action. It's a little bit less, in your face. But also we have backup codes now. So if you're a beta user and would like to enable backup codes, you can do that in your smart lock settings. This is good because then we'll never have to send a message like that to one of your guests, because in the background, we'll be provisioning backup codes that we can then use to send to guests if there is a failure provisioning their guest specific code for any reason. So those are just the changes in the past couple of weeks. This is definitely not the end for our smart lock improvements. Like I said, we're meeting once a week as a cross team or cross-departmental team to identify some more places we can make changes, and working on this. It's like one of our biggest focuses. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated as we make improvements there. All right.
Emily, I'm interrupting. There was a great question from someone that Lauren Meeks, and
hey,
a good
Lauren.
friend of Hospitable, who is asking basically whether we're still going to keep the direct Schlage connection rather than having a connection through remote lock or another third-party service. So can you share what the experience is going to be like it's still very early for the transition. Plans?
I can jump in if you want, Emily, because
Yeah.
I'm in those meetings. So yeah, we are not going to just cut off the existing connections. The first step is to all new connections for Schlage will go through the other integrator. After that, we're working with the integrator to see if we can get the serial numbers for the locks. And as long as we can do that, then you won't see any hiccup. We'll basically ask you to reconnect. There's my cat. Hi. And we'll just be able to transfer them over. But yeah, we're not going to cut anyone off. You're going to have a period where
I think the question is really more about you don't need to set up a third-party service. So we have
no
intention whatsoever on getting you to use a third-party service. Remote Lock is a connection provider that some of our customers really have been requesting for quite some time. And so if they want to do that, that's perfect. There is for us really the idea is that you can still connect your Schlage on code devices through a reliable partner, but we are dealing with that partner for you. You don't have to set up an account, connect something, exchange API keys. This will be the same experience as what you're having today, which is directly within Hospitable. You connect your Schlage account to Hospitable through that third party, so that we can set up the codes for you as quickly as possible. Okay. Emily, I'll move to the next slide.
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little bit about connectivity. So in the past couple of weeks, we've made some improvements to our Vrbo connection. A lot of this stuff is kind of under the hood things that you can't necessarily see, but we hope you can feel. So we've optimized the information that we're sending to Vrbo and asking for from Vrbo in order to avoid some rate limits that were causing a lot of calendar sync errors in the past. So the good news is we're not seeing as many of those errors, and we're continuing to work on improving that connection moving forward. And then for our Vrbo and Booking.com connections, we've met as a product team, as an engineering team, and have decided to dedicate some time in the coming weeks to really strengthening those connections to give everybody a better experience there. We're currently having an issue with our Booking.com connection, which we're working with Booking.com on, where some of those messages aren't coming through to us. So again, we're going to dedicate time to improving those connections and hopefully can make those more reliable moving forward. And then for inbox changes, this is something we're really excited about. We've just done a major refactor to how we load our inbox. So especially some of our larger hosts, we're seeing their inbox load very, very slowly, especially during peak times when everybody's just coming online. And after this big refactor, we're now seeing a lot quicker load times, even for our largest hosts. We just looked the other day, and at peak times, even our largest customer was able to load their inbox in under 2 seconds. And for the majority of our hosts, I mean, it would be much, much quicker than that. So we're excited about having a speedier inbox experience for you all. And then up next, we've mentioned command bar here and there. It's not something we've done a big release about, but if you hit Command K, from anywhere within Hospitable, a command bar pops up and you can search for a variety of things. Properties are available in there. Next, we're going to be allowing you to search for conversations. This isn't available yet, but this is going to be another big thing, which touches the inbox and allows you to navigate more quickly to conversations just by hitting Command K and searching for some keyword in the conversation that you're looking for. So that way you don't have to go into the inbox and kind of like sort through all the recent messages you've received. You can just quickly search with Command K. So that's coming up next and is going to be another great update to our inbox that we're looking forward to sharing with you. That's all I got for today. I think it's Q&A time.
So quicker inbox, which definitely is going to be very welcome for everyone. A direct premium, a direct that is basically getting released progressively to more users as per your request. Google Vacation Rentals, that's going to happen for sure. And yeah, ChatGPT making great progress and fantastic success for our customers. Okie dokie. So now we are approaching we're now going to be on the Q&A time. And so I'm going to give priorities to people that are raising their hands. So that's something that you can have at the bottom of your screens. And I will basically start by inviting Yash Sadani. I'm going to allow you to talk and you can ask your questions. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey everyone, doing well. Hope you guys are too. Just had a quick question on the smart lock backup codes. So I'm a beta user and I've enabled the codes for my properties. And I see that in the guest experience, the pending messages section, that there are some pending messages for backup codes uh, being sent to the guest, but the code is the exact same as the original code that was sent. And there was no warning or anything that I got that said I didn't provision the code correctly. So I'm kind of curious as to what this message is and if it's going to be sent.
Okay. I think this is gonna Andrew or Emily.
I think this might be something we need to look into for you to give you a more direct answer, unless somebody else has. No, okay.
No, I think that's something that we need to look into. I don't think I've seen a report like that in coming days, in the last few days.
Yeah, so if you could submit a ticket to us with some of the details of that information, we can look into it for you and get an answer for you.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll do.
Thank you, Yash, for
Thank
escalating
you.
that to us. Okay. I'm gonna moving forward. So I'm gonna invite Thomas to talk and ask a question to the panel.
Hey team.
Hello, Thomas.
I'm fairly new to Hospitable, but I am about to roll out a bunch more properties, or at least that's what it looks like right now. And I really love this tool. And this is not so much a question, or I've already asked the question in chat, but just to the entire team, from me as a host speaking, is I would really prefer if you like. I'm looking forward to all these features, ChatGPT, more integrations, Google vacation rentals, and all that. But what I'm looking forward to most is just stabilizing what you already have, because it's so great. But there's like those minor bugs that take the time. Like I can't change something in Hospitable and push it out to Airbnb in a text in the description if there's something's changed or something like that. So, and especially like those little issues with Verbo and stuff. I know you're working on all of that, but if this team were just to focus for a month or two and slow down on the new features, I feel like you could make the entire experience even more fluent. That's basically all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and that's totally legitimate. And our product team is very familiar with that. And I can assure you, if that was just a matter of a sprint of 1 or 2 months across the entire team, we would have done that. The reality of it, though, is that those are not simply the same people that are working on those different features. Any connectivity issue require quite a bit of experience into a very complex code base and a very thorough kind of context to be able to provide a solution for that. So our hero here is really Costin, as an engineer that really is doing wonders on looking at Costin and Sam as our director of engineering, who is directly involved in that, to really be able to investigate issues and progressively fix them as they are happening, and with the support of the product team to be able to prioritize which issues are going to be having the greatest impact on the team. The other features like Google Vacation Rental, ChatGPT, those are things that really, surprisingly, don't necessarily take that much time, because those are net new features on probably a cleaner code base, and they are faster to basically get it done. You can have 7 developers on a given issue. It won't necessarily be moving 7 times faster. And so we have a very conservative approach. Definitely, there are some developers that are working on smart locks, for example, also on connectivity, and that do just that. They don't get the chance of developing new features, which is something that, from a human perspective, is interesting to do once in a while. There's other people that are developing for now those new features on Direct Premium, for example. So we have different teams on our engineering side to be working on those things. So we definitely appreciate your concern, and really the product team is really advocating for moving more to on fixing those variable connectivities and the variable connectivity issues, Booking.com connection experience. That always takes priority on any new feature for our core engineering team.
All right, thanks so much for clarifying that.
Yeah.
and we are hiring to do more. So that is part of that. It's
we are
not
hiring,
that.
Sorry, and we're hiring developers really more like mid-level going to senior. I was checking, the compensation numbers because they typically, especially as we're recruiting more in Europe, a compensation I think start at $134,000, if I'm correct, for a mid-level software engineer with experience in PHP, Laravel. So that's a framework that we're using internally and to move faster on those issues. So yeah, thank you so much, Thomas. So yeah, next one is Lauren, the friend of Hospitable. I'm gonna try. Okay. Sorry, I'm a bit of a struggling moderator here. It's a bit new. I'm good at passing slides, but it's complicated. Hello, Lauren. How are you doing?
Hey, good. You keep making comments like I'm your friend, and I'm not sure how to take that. But
Are you not? I did keep showing up. So friends that are here to stay. That's a good plus, no?
Yeah.
How can we help you?
I wanted to start by giving you guys kudos. I know we have had. I will be the first to say we've had a lot of tense conversations over the last few months, but you guys really have been obviously putting in a lot of effort, and things are way better than they used to be, and I really appreciate it. So I just had two quick questions. One is about the Slade integration, just a clarifying question. If I add this, if I switch out the locks is really the use case. It's an existing property, existing reservations, and I add a Slade lock to it. Are the codes going to be generated for reservations that are already created, or only for new reservations that are made after the connection is live? So that's my first question. And then the second one is that I get reservation sync calendar block failed messages for my Vrbo accounts at least a dozen times a day. And I've gotten to the point where I just ignore them, which is really probably not good for preventing double bookings. So what is there something that I can do about it, or that we can do about it?
I'm gonna answer on the first part of the question, and Jen can probably has far more experience than I do about basically those verbal emails. It's very unfortunate, and definitely Jen is on top of this. So really, when you connect a smart lock, any smart lock of any brand that you can connect, so Schlage, August, Yale, etc., we are always going to be working on populating codes for reservation that you have secured in the past, whose check-in date is in the future. Those codes may already be existing, and if that's the case, we don't attempt to create them. And if there is really a code that doesn't appear to have been created for the given time of the reservation, for example, then we'll be generating that code. So all of this is happening behind the scene as soon as you have connected that smart lock and matched it to a property. So make sure that when you connect that smart lock, that it's indeed going to be matched with the correct property on your side. Otherwise, a lot of codes may be created. That's been a point of friction in the past, but I think now it's being handled really well. Jen, what's the latest on the Vrbo sync emails, and is Lauren right to ignore them?
I definitely don't ignore them, but I understand why you're at that point. I think this is a theme of what we've talked about in general. We want to make the connection to VRBO more stable, more smooth. One of the biggest things, Lauren, you feel and others feel too, is kind of getting in this loop, and bear with me while I try and explain this. But basically, VRBO says, hey, we need two-factor authentication. You don't actually have a way to provide that in our platform without disconnecting and reconnecting. So the account gets disconnected, and then we ask you to reconnect to verify that two-factor authentication. One thing we found that we can do is actually reset the device that VRBO thinks is connecting, because we're connecting your account to VRBO. It's our IP address that's doing that. They think it's one specific device. we've basically been able to reset that on the back end so that when you reconnect, it looks like a totally new device that isn't in that loop of continually asking for two-factor authentication. So for anyone in that state where they see a VRBO account continues to get disconnected, reach out to us, and while it says connected, we can reset that device, and hopefully that should make the account stay connected. That said, yeah, there are still times when VRBO just decides to log people out for security. I try not to put that in quotes. They log people out, and yeah, we have to ask you to reconnect. But yeah, that is one of the big things we want to make more stable. It should not constantly be disconnecting. That is, yeah, absolutely not what we want.
Well, and to be clear, I was having an issue with constantly multiple times a day getting disconnected. I'm not getting those errors as often anymore. I mean, I am still, but it's like, I would say it's more along the lines of every 4 to 5 days, but I'm still getting the emails saying that the calendar syncs aren't working. Literally, I just looked at my inbox. It's at least 10 to 15 times every single day. And I did reach out, like when I first started getting them, I did reach out to support a few times and asked, what was going on. And then we looked and they're actually, the sync didn't fail. The calendar sync didn't fail. I'm just getting the emails anyway, which is the main reason why I've started ignoring them now, because I can't check like 15 times a day on something that isn't actually broken. So it's just very unclear, like if it's, whether I need to look at it or not, because I think sometimes the sync fails and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think we're totally with you. Sean is also sharing the same thing on Q&A. So I'm with Lauren on the verbal double booking email. Definitely creates a boy crying wolf situation, which is exactly taking the same words from James' mouth, actually, from past meetings that we've been having on that. So we're very aware of the problem. What it means is really, as the product team is working on prioritization, and we kind of agreed that verbal connectivity is really, we cannot do anything more stable. So we decided to prioritize verbal connectivity issues over some other new features, exactly like Thomas, I believe, was sharing. So the next big thing that we would like to do for core is related with metrics, financial dashboards. There was a lot of work from the product team on that, but obviously we need to increase our reliability with Verbo, with Booking.com as well in the user experience for connection, to be able to have a clear foundation for the product so far. So yeah, we're with you, Lauren. It keeps on improving, and I'm going to show you there's going to be a time when you won't receive a reservation sync email at all during the day, and you will wonder if Hospitable is up. Which is basically about to
that? Can I?
I want to. I don't have a time frame. That's the thing that's a bit unfortunate. You've been listening to me about Verbo quite a few times now, so you know that it's difficult to be working with from a technical perspective. It's a lot of trial and error. It's the same situation across different partners in the industry. I'm not going to name them so them under the bus, because we are under the same bus, really. But really, we are all experiencing the same kind of challenges in relation with our integration. So yeah, thank you, Lauren, for bringing that up, and thank you for asking some tough questions that need to be asked. I'm gonna invite next is Bobby. Bobby Barn, how are you doing?
Hey, Pierre, can you hear me? Okay.
Can I hear you just fine? How are you doing?
All right, awesome. Good, man. How are you doing?
Fine.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
hey, so a couple of questions here. So the first one, this may be an easy thing that I just don't know about, but when I have a guest check out, if they don't leave a review, I have an automated message that'll go out. I think it's like 3 days later, asking if they can leave a review. And I'm finding sometimes that, when a guest does leave a review, we forget to uncheck that and they still get that email. Not a huge deal, but I'm curious if Hospitable has a way to, know whether or not that guest has left a review on either Airbnb or Verbo.
Yeah, Bobby, I'll help. So on the messaging rule itself, where you ask for that review, there's actually a settings where you can check and say, don't send this message if a guest has already left a review. So that should be a setting right on the messaging rule. And that only applies for
Airbnb, right?
Yes, I was just going to say that only applies for Airbnb because we can't leave reviews for VRBO guests or detect reviews for VRBO guests specifically.
Okay. User error. I get it. Okay, cool.
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
Perfect. All right. Well, easy fixes are good. Cool. So I'll look for that. And then secondly, I sent in a message yesterday, but haven't received a response yet. I have one Hospitable account with my personal properties, but I'm now co-hosting properties and should be scaling that pretty quickly. So of course, I'm going to open a different Hospitable account to kind of separate the two. I'm curious if there's a way to take the automated messaging that I've created, like the messaging rules. Is there a way that you guys on the back end can copy that into a new account for me, or is that something I'll need to go in and do essentially copy and paste over again?
Yeah, how many rules do you have? Is it a big handful?
Let's see. I mean, not a ton, I guess. I'd have to look to give you an exact amount, but I mean, it's not like 40 or 30 or anything like that. It's, I don't know, 10 to 20 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't like a magic tool we have to say, go copy X to Y. So if it's a handful, probably just recreating them is the best. If you have a ton, that might be something we can do, but it would be very custom and yeah, probably easier for you to just do them if there's not that many.
Okay, just copy and paste them there. All right. I think that's all I had. The organizing of messaging rules. This is probably another easy one. But when I create messaging rules for the various properties, I notice they all kind of show up in one lump sum under messaging rules and our guest experience. Is there a way to, can you filter those into their own kind of properties? Is there something you can click on to these are all the messaging rules for this property. These are all the messaging rules for this property.
Bobby, I feel like you're doing a great intro for us to our product. Yes. At the top of the page, there's filters, and you can say filter to only show messages for VRBO platform or only messages for this property. So yeah, just check out, there's like a little filters at the top.
Okay. I think that's all I had. I see the filter button right here. So cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bobby. See you later. Okay, next one is Christian. I'm gonna allow you to talk. Hello, Christian, how are you doing? You're gonna need to unmute yourself. Should be button to do so.
Perfect.
Hello, Christian. We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very well. Hey, first off, I want to say, I've probably been on 5 different platforms. I actually left you guys, and then I came back, and very, very happy. But by going to other platforms, I kind of identify some gaps that I would love to, if you guys are going to fill them. I've spoken, I don't remember who, and I know it's on the roadmap somewhere, but better reporting, maybe live dashboards, and we co-host properties for people. In other platforms, we've been able to provide them an owner's dashboard so they could go in and mark off dates or see their revenue or just have a dashboard for themselves, so they're not constantly asking us for those reports. Where on the roadmap are you looking at for these features?
You see, that's the problem of running a product like Hospitable. On a long enough time frame, we're gonna serve you coffee. It's pretty clear for me year after year. But as another customer was sharing earlier, it's a tough job to prioritize between the stability of our products and consolidating the experience for everyone, learning lessons and basically iterating, and then developing those kind of new features. So currently, I think we have a consensus within the team that we're really going to focus right now on connectivity issues and improving the experience for every host. And then we have a few things in store about metrics and financial dashboard in particular. I can tell you that what you've seen elsewhere will basically be imported as is within Hospitable. I don't think it's really the type of product that we're looking to build. But we definitely do appreciate that a lot of our customers obviously are service providers and are rendering a service for their clients, and we need to help you communicate the value that you are having for your customers. Emily, I don't know. Can you share a few things about what we have in store once we're sorted out with Verbo? That Lauren is not receiving a reservation sync email that's erroneously sent, because now I'm accountable to it. It's on the record, and we are finally able to get metrics out of the door. How would that work?
Yeah. Wait, so is the question when we're going to focus on metrics?
No, the when I think is very much a question mark for everyone. But what do we? What are we? Can you share a few words on what we're contemplating?
Yeah, priority wise. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Priority is tough, but basically once we do that, what can we do?
yeah. So the thing with metrics that's cool, once we get these connectivity issues out of the way and it's more reliable and stable for you, we do have slotted to release a better metrics product. Kind of like Pierre was saying, there are going to be really robust things out there, and this is going to bridge the gap to that. We're super excited about it, and it can lead us to do bigger things with metrics, but we just don't know exactly what that looks like right now. But yeah, metrics will be a focus after the connectivity things. We're also talking about some better experience with inbox and conversations to kind of overhaul that. We know that there's a lot of confusion at times about like how to interact with the inbox, whether it's like flipping conversations, like things are happening kind of backwards, what we're expecting them to do. So we have some ideas in the works that we're like excited to be able to get to, but again, those connectivity things are kind of our focus for the meantime.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there any, I know it's hard to commit to anything, especially with development sprints. Are you, is that a 3 month we're looking at? Is 6 months to get to metrics? Is there any sort of time frame?
It's going to depend a lot on our engineering resources and when we're able to bring some new people onto our team. I hope it's not 6 months. I would think it could be before that. But again, I mean, kind of like you said, we can't commit to a time frame in a town hall, but it is going to be our focus after connectivity improvements.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much.
For that part of the team that's really is working on connectivity improvement, that probably is going to be the best place to develop those new metric and financial reporting features. And again, it's not going to be a full-blown product. What you've seen elsewhere, property management software, it's really in the name. Those products are really catered for property managers, of which owner statement is really a core feature. I don't want Hospitable to be an owner dashboard kind of thing, a property management software in that very sense. I think that's not what makes the appeal. That's not the reason why you return back to us. So we kind of need to expand the scope of our product again. But we want to be doing that in a conscious way so as not to alienate too many of our customers. But thank you, Christian, for raising that point. Stay with us. We're going to share those updates as they happen on the tunnel. So yeah, we'll be able to contribute with your input and your feedback on this very event. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Okay, we have a few more people who have raised their hands. I'm going to have Brent coming here to ask us a few questions. Otherwise, we're probably going to be having a bit of a fireside chat. So if you have some questions, please ask them on the Q&A so that we can go look at them at the end. And thank you everyone for Jen, Vera, and Lisa who are replying to questions behind the scenes so that there are no open questions for this one. Brent, how are you doing?
Good, Pierre. How are you?
Doing fine. How can we help you?
So I am with OwnerRes right now. I'm looking to switch.
Right.
And I decided to join your town hall because I did not beta test, but I demoed Hospitable when I first started. And your messaging by far, it's better than any other platform that I've used. And I've used a couple different kinds. And so I appreciate you guys working so hard on the messaging because I think that's what separates you from the rest. And I'm interested in actually coming back now that you have the direct booking, which was kind of my deal breaker. And so I have just a few questions that I asked to Brian Silos, but I haven't heard back from him yet. But maybe you can just answer a few of them. So I integrate with remote locks, and I heard that is a provider that you guys are working on. Is that already in place? because I do use remote locks now with OwnerRes.
Yeah, that's done. You can
Okay.
connect your remote lock account from Hospitable.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm looking at Exemplify because we use QuickBooks Online. We're trying to find a solution, and maybe that's the solution for this gentleman that's a co-host. I also co-host, and I'm wondering if the data set that is transmitted from Hospitable to Exemplify, is that going to give us the ability to give more robust owner statements than the PMS itself? Is that something?
So,
do you know?
I think we had a few events with Exemplify in recent months, in recent weeks. I think they have an integration with Hospitable, so they can retrieve the data as they can. I talked with them at the occasion of the last VRMA to basically make sure that we can provide more robust financials. That's really is tied to that objective of getting financials working, but we need to basically improve our connectivity issue in that regard first. So I think since Exemplify is integrated with Hospitable, that's a question really for them, whether that's a solution for you. I know they have built that integration. I'm not familiar really with the full scope and what they can do for you.
Okay. And does okay, thank you for answering that. And does your messaging, can I reply to Verbo messages and Booking.com messages?
Yes.
Okay. So it's
Within
the
the same
unified
inbox.
inbox. Yeah. My unified inbox for OwnerRes, I cannot message Verbo, and they're an elite connectivity partner. So how is that possible? I don't know. So the other thing was for the direct booking website integration with Stripe, as I'm used that solution is a I guess you have two solutions. The one that is where you integrate with Stripe, is that a 1% fee? Do we know what the fees are associated with that?
Yeah, I think I could have Andrew to answer that particular question. And Vera wants to follow up with you as well, because she's obviously working with a lot of people who have connected either or Hospitable and OwnerRes together.
Yeah,
Andrew,
hi, Brent.
why don't you?
I'll be just super short, just to make sure that Brent has the functionality he actually needs. Are you currently connected to OwnerRes at all? In terms of, so just to make one thing clear, Airbnb VRBO messaging will work completely fine. Booking.com, on the other hand, the way they work, they can only be connected to one PMS system at a time. So just a little workaround for you. You can add Booking.com bookings in manually into the calendar in order for us to be able to send out those automated messages. So that would be the workaround for now. Just keep your eye out for that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And then on the payment processing fees, direct basic, you're connecting a Stripe account, you're averaging about 3%. So that's what we recommend if you look in the support docs. Once you get set up, your markup rates for direct is something you can do to kind of recover those fees. If you're trying to balance your payouts across channels, we recommend you set direct to 3%. And then that would just bump your nightly rate up. So you capture from the guest that payment processing fee, and you don't have to eat those fees. On direct premium side, the payment processing fees are included with direct premium.
Okay, perfect. And then last question is, what is the solution for, so right now I have a rental agreement that gets sent out at the time of booking, and is that something that, because previously you guys didn't have it when it was Smart B&B. I'm trying to figure out that, and I've looked at your website, and for some reason I cannot find where we're able to send a rental agreement with like a DocuSign type of e-signature.
So yeah, that's a work in progress. We're working actually with AutoHost on that. So they have a rental agreement feature. What we're working with them is to give us basically an endpoint, an interface that we can do rental agreements at the property level. We have a kind of a unique setup with AutoHost. That's one path forward with that. If you're using direct basic, the AutoHost isn't a part of that necessarily. So yeah, it's been something that's flagged on the direct premium side. Everything is going through our terms of service. So that's covered. I think on agreements beyond 30 days, that's not something we really support yet in direct. And when we do, those rental agreements become a lot more important. So it's a work in progress, and there's going to be improvements coming on the way. But yeah, we don't have a solution for that currently.
Okay, so the direct premium is only the only thing that's in there is they're signing for that $5,000 coverage, and then there's also some intake information that they're taking, but there's no rental agreement that can be implemented yet.
Not at this moment, but that reservation with Hospitable as a merchant of record and direct premium is covered under our terms of service, which are host friendly and protect you. And when they go through auto host and direct premium, they're accepting the super hog, who provides $5 million of damage protection for your property. They're accepting those terms at that time.
Okay. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
And thank you very much.
Thanks, Brent.
I think the thing that we're going to love to hear is really what is in your rental agreement, because it seems like often what we've seen is those are more like house rules. So that's okay to share in another kind of firm. You want to sign off on that, that's totally fine. We need to find a way to articulate really what's the difference on the reality or the legality of the relationship. That burden is really on our side.
Beyond 30 days, it becomes more of a legal issue that the host needs to have a rental agreement. So yeah, we've had that flagged and it's coming.
Perfect. Yeah, I do have midterm stays because I'm in Florida and we have snowbirds in my area. And that's why I had to have a lawyer draft my rental agreement that includes some provisions for over 30-day stays. So that's why it was so important for me.
That's great. Thank you, Brent. So I know Brian may not have answered to you right away. He was just having a webinar with Beyond, with a new partnership that we're having, and relating his experience as a hospitable host himself, on top of being an employee working within a sales team. So I'm going to make sure that Brian is getting back to you on the question that you have asked. And just one other thing, because of our Airbnb connection, the nature of it, you can have Airbnb and hospitable and honoraries overlapping. You don't need to make a hard decision. We have, I think, 150 of our customers that are using honoraries and hospitable together. It may not be the most efficient setup in many ways, but we do have plenty of customers that are using honoraries and are relying on us for the messaging without any problem, with the caveat for Booking.com in particular. So you can, the sales team will be getting back to you on those particular questions for transition and setup.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for questions. Last one, sorry for Quinton, Scott, and Jeremy. I'm gonna have just try and have just Detron. Oh no, wait. Oh no. I'm the worst host ever. Okay. Well, Jeremy, if you're here with us, you can. I clicked the wrong button. I mean, I should really have no responsibility whatsoever. This is totally a joke.
I'm sure Jeremy's all right.
I think Jeremy's all right, though. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So ask you a question quick, because I kind of made a statement. I have to be accountable to someone else now.
Yeah.
Jeremy, quick question.
And I can send an email on this if you want, but with right now, with Hospitable not being the merchant of record for VRBO, it's nice for them to still be able to mitigate taxes and things. With the direct bookings coming in and Hospitable being able to become a merchant of record, is that going to change anything on VRBO's connection side of things that would force the similar connection that other PMS systems have, where those PMS become the merchant of record and now VRBO does not remit taxes?
I mean, not today, but if you give us a little while, sure. We have a setup. We have a setup with the payment provider we're doing. We have a long roadmap of amazing things we can do with them. We don't have time to talk about all of that today, but yeah, we are going to look at how we expand the footprint of what we have with the merchant of record and the payment platform. So yeah.
I guess more than anything, is that going to change the way VRBO handles things? Because right now, Hospitable isn't the merchant of record for VRBO bookings, but like on other PMS softwares, it forces that issue. So where VRBO is no longer the merchant of record and would force us to pay taxes for those, to mitigate those. So will that change at all as things move forward with direct bookings that you know of or anything?
I think we should probably connect after this, and you could probably actually teach me a bit. I haven't done the discovery on this, but if you want to shoot me an email, I'll drop it in chat, and I'd love to get your take on how you'd like to see it work. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
It's not going to happen overnight. We had plenty of talks with the Verbo team on that. The estimated time with a team of engineers to be developing that type of integration that is really very extensive, very comprehensive, is basically about 9 months. And it doesn't address anything in particular on the messaging side of things. So it's we're hoping Verbo can change a few things on their side, as the rest of the industry has been doing. So we are able to improve that. But yeah, we built a foundation with the service of the merchant of record as part of Direct Premium. Would love to use that. Perfect. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm gonna disable you, and I'm gonna disable you to talk, and I'm gonna invite Ditron, which I actually expected to click on, but unfortunately I have a fat finger situation. Hello, Ditron. What's your name exactly?
It's Ditron.
Ditron.
Yeah.
Very good name.
It's okay. I can be the last person. But I had one thing that I had. Lately, I just started up a new Airbnb with a partner that also uses Hospitable as his PMS, as his system. So we both have a primary account, and we want to both be able to see messages about our mutual property. But it's kind of hard to have two people that have active Hospitable accounts to be able to see one listing together.
Yeah, I can see that. That's not currently something that we support, and it would force quite a restructuring. Since that's going to be exactly like merging two accounts together. That's a solution that we can have, which probably is not the one that's desirable. And otherwise, we're talking about co-hosting within Hospitable across different customers, which is not something that we have right now. But Andrew, want to share something? Scream something. One word. Are we gonna? No, you don't. You don't. I think you did.
That was more of just an inside joke with Emily that Connect is going to solve this. More to come soon.
Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be something that we can do in the future about it. That we just started doing, actually, as a result of the previous town hall, where we got a bit of an idea.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, Ditron. At this point in time, it seems that you have to trust us for future developments. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you everyone who participated on this town hall. Thank you for giving us a little bit of time to run through some of those company and product updates. We're still working on solving the support. We have faster inbox loading. We're slowly but surely releasing Direct to 100% of our audience in coming weeks. And yeah, getting better at smart locks. So thank you so very much. See you in 2 weeks' time on the Zoom link, something like that. And for more updates. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.